Christy, welcome to my channel, or maybe welcome back if you've been here before. Hi bestie! And just between besties, right, I absolutely fucked my hair, like I hate it so much. I know that it's fucked, but we're just gonna ignore it. Just ignore it. Don't even look at it. Today it'll probably be a relatively quick video, and I'm not doing any makeup in it either, just because I don't actually have much time, but I still did want to get a video up this week. We're going to be talking about Medusa and why she is not the villain like many people believe, but she is in fact the victim. Medusa is well known for being a terrifying monster that even the fiercest of warriors feared, but she wasn't always like that. Daughter of Phorcys, pronunciation not sure, who was a sea god, and Ceto, who was goddess of the sea monsters. Medusa was born a normal mortal girl, a very charming, beautiful, kind-hearted girl. It is said that Medusa was one of the most beautiful women to ever walk the earth, and that one of her best attributes was her head of golden, luscious hair. And although Medusa was a normal mortal girl, her two sisters, again I don't know how to pronounce this name, Stheno and Euryale, were immortal gorgons. Now a gorgon is a woman of sorts, but they are part woman, part serpent, and they are often depicted as having snakes for hair. Growing up, Medusa and her sisters were very close, and they also spent a lot of time hanging out with the demigod Epicles, who is actually the lesser known twin brother of Hercules, who is very well known. I don't need to explain who that is. I actually only did find one source that mentioned Epicles in the story, but I actually really liked it and I thought that it was a nice touch, so I decided to include it in this one as well, and I'll put on screen somewhere where I found the source that says that he was in the story. As Medusa and Epicles grew up, they grew closer and started to develop feelings for one another, and one day Epicles decided that he would confess these feelings to Medusa, and although she did love him back, she actually turned his offer down. You see, ever since Medusa was a little girl, she really admired the goddess Athena. Athena was the goddess of wisdom, warfare and handicraft. Medusa admired Athena so much that she always knew when she grew up she wanted to dedicate her entire life to her and become one of her priestesses, and one of the requirements for being a priestess for Athena was to remain pure, i.e. a virgin. So Medusa actually did go on to be one of Athena's priestesses, and she resided in the temple of worship dedicated to Athena, and Medusa was doing with her life exactly what she wanted to do, which was to devote it to Athena. So she spent time in the temple performing rituals, gathering offerings, and pretty much just being the perfect example of a priestess. And at first, Athena was super impressed with Medusa and all the hard work she was doing. She could see how loyal she was and that she was really like the ideal version of a follower. She could see all the hard work that she was putting in as well, and that all this hard work was paying off. And each day, more and more people were coming to her temple of worship, and this obviously made Athena very happy. However, it wasn't before too long that she noticed that people were coming to the temple a lot, but they weren't actually coming there to pay worship to her. They were actually coming there to admire Medusa and all her radiant beauty. And if you know anything about the gods, you'll know that they are a very jealous, very petty bunch, so this pissed Athena off. And Athena did consider seeking some revenge on Medusa for this, but after giving it some thought, she realised that it actually wasn't Medusa's fault, that she was so charming and so beautiful, and like I said, she could see that she was like very dedicated to her, very loyal, and she was one of her best, if not her best follower, so she decided to just let it go. So this is where Poseidon, he's the god of the sea, comes into the story. You see, Athena and Poseidon were long-term rivals, and he was always looking for new ways to fuck Athena over. So when he saw that the pure and virginal Medusa was becoming increasingly popular as one of Athena's dedicated and loyal, perfect, unblemished followers, he decided that he was going to try and use her as a pawn to tarnish Athena's reputation. So he decided that he was going to try and seduce Medusa. That was so bad. One day when she was walking along by the seashore, just minding her own business, she was approached by the great sea god, and he let her know that he was interested in her, and of course she was flattered. I mean, this is Poseidon, god of the sea, like, you would be, wouldn't you? However, it didn't matter how flattered Medusa was. The most important thing in the world to her was the vow that she made to Athena, and she wasn't going to break that vow for anyone. So she very politely turned Poseidon down, and off she went on her way back to the temple of Athena. Poseidon was not going to accept this rejection though, and he decided that whether Medusa liked it or not, he was going to go ahead with his plan. So, filled with a rage, he decided to follow her back to the temple. Epicles sees this happening, and in an attempt to protect his childhood friend, he stands up to Poseidon, but the demigod is of course no match for him. So with one blow, he swipes him away and knocks him completely unconscious. Poseidon then caught up with Medusa, and right there in the temple of Athena, he forced himself upon her. Medusa, understandably feeling just crushed at what had just happened to her, started praying to Athena because she loved her so much and she wanted to seek some of her care and some of her wisdom from the god, person, everything that meant the most to her in this world. However, Athena, although she's a goddess, that doesn't necessarily make her good, and although she's the goddess of wisdom, doesn't necessarily make her smart. She felt that her temple had been dishonoured and was no longer pure, and that was Medusa's fault. She said that if Medusa hadn't been so beautiful and so radiant and so charming, it wouldn't lead men to sin and it would never have happened. What a fucking bitch, honestly. You hear that, bitch? Then Athena decided that instead of comforting Medusa and answering her prayers, that she would instead punish her. As her punishment, she would take away her beauty and instead transform her into a grotesque monster. Her once porcelain skin would now be cracked, green and scaly, and her luscious head of golden hair would now be made up of venomous, vicious snakes. Better than the hair I have right now, not gonna lie. And so that no man would ever look at Medusa with desire again, Athena made it so that as soon as she made eye contact with someone, they would immediately be petrified to stone. Medusa was now a gorgon. There's a fucking dog barking outside and I wish it would shut up. Shut up! Oh my god, did that work? No. A short while later, when Epicles became conscious again, he went to the temple of Athena to go and see Medusa and check that she was okay, and when he went in, he seen her on the floor crying, so he gently put his hand on her shoulder, and as she turned around, made eye contact with him, he was immediately and forever turned to stone. And seeing what a monster she'd become, Medusa ran as far and as fast as she could so that she could never harm anyone else again. Once the townspeople started to hear about Medusa, this terrifying creature who can turn you to stone with just one glance, many warriors, heroes, and people with small penis syndrome, I guess, who had like a point to prove, went to try and find Medusa and slay her. It became a big thing that only a true champion could get the head of Medusa. But every single one of them was unsuccessful and they were all turned into stone statues. And honestly, good, they deserve it actually. All of them, that is, until Perseus came along. Perseus had been sent on a mission to... Perseus had been sent on a mission. Oh my god, I've said this fucking sentence about 5 times. I can't get it out of my mouth. Perseus had been sent on a mission to retrieve the head of Medusa, and unfortunately he was successful in his mission and he was able to behead her. Now, why Perseus was on this mission and how he managed to kill a gorgon that you can't look directly at is a whole story in itself, and like I said, I wanted this video to be quick, so maybe I'll do that in another video, possibly my next Greek myth video, and if you want to hear that then let me know. Then, either from the blood on the earth or from her headless body out of her neck, in death Medusa birthed two children. The first was Cryosaur. Guys, pronunciation is not my strong point. He is sometimes depicted as a young man with a golden sword, and sometimes he's depicted as a boar, so no difference there then. And the second of Medusa's children was the winged horse Pegasus. Although Medusa had died, she did almost live on in death in a weird kind of way. So Perseus used to carry her head around in a bag and use it to defeat his enemies by... And that is the end of Medusa's story. I don't really think I have to explain any further why I think she's the victim and why she deserves justice. Basically everyone in this story but her and Epicles are fucking dicks. I do like now though how Medusa is seen as more of a symbol of protection and of feminism as well. I just think that she's one of the best characters in the whole of Greek mythology, and she's so misunderstood as well, and I just think that she's really fucking cool. Anyway, that's everything from me today. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. Please make sure that you're subscribed if you want to see more videos like this, and give it a thumbs up and comment Athena's a bitch. Bye!